my name is Sheila Karuna. Welcome to New Light Streaming Love and Sassy Seers Sheila, as this will be seen on both channels. This one is Leaving the Digital Red Pill World by Jason Gray. There comes a moment when you realize that the escape you thought you found was just another cell, that the rebellion you thought you were part of was still a script, that the quote red pill you swallowed with such conviction was manufactured in the same lab as the blue one. And that moment is the beginning of real awakening. The seduction of the red pill. For many, the red pill felt like salvation. It was marketed as the cure for blindness, the antidote to the engineered dream. Suddenly, you could see through the illusions, the media, the politicians, corporations, the priests of progress and control. You woke up to corruption. You saw through manipulation. You realized the world you had trusted was a mirage designed to keep you docile. The rush of that discovery is intoxicating. I have to agree with him about that. It feels like fire in your veins. For the first time, you believe you are seeing the quote, real story, and you want everyone around you to wake up too. What you do not notice at first is that the red pill is also content. It is also packaged, marketed, and sold. It is another narrative economy designed to hook you, feed you outrage, and keep you scrolling for the next revelation. What was promised as deliberation becomes another form of captivity. The addiction to outrage. The digital red pill world thrives on a steady drip of revelation and anger. Every day there is a new scandal, a new betrayal, a new symbol decoded, a new proof that, quote, they are lying. And because the system you left betrayed you, you cling even harder to this new one. The more you distrust, the more enlightened you feel. The more you share, the more awake you think you are. The more people call you crazy, the more certain you become that you are right. It is a perfect feedback loop. The dopamine of outrage is disguised as spiritual vigilance. What happens? You never rest. You never arrive. You are kept in constant agitation, constantly seeking, constantly consuming. This is not awakening. This is addiction. The trap of infinite mirrors. The red pill told you not to trust the system, and that was true, but it replaced it with another system. You stopped trusting the official news, but began worshiping, quote, alternative influencers who use the same tactics. You stopped believing in government, but began investing faith in hidden councils, movements, or saviors who could, quote, fix it all. You stopped swallowing lies, but you kept swallowing pills. And the problem with pills is this: they are designed to keep you dependent. The red pill does not free you. It binds you to a new identity, the one who sees through it all, but being against the lie is not the same as living the truth. You end up in an infinite hall of mirrors, always chasing, always exposing, always consuming, but never arriving at the bedrock of reality, because the bedrock cannot be mediated. It cannot be tweeted. It cannot be posted on Facebook. It cannot be packaged into a viral video. It can only be lived. The Matrix was never out there. The cruelest trick of the red pill world is convincing you that the prison is external. That convincing you, that if you just fight the government hard enough, decode enough symbols, or spread enough memes, you will finally break free. The Matrix was never just outside. The Matrix was the identity you built around opposition. The Matrix was the belief that awakening meant consuming someone else's map of the lie. The Matrix was your attention being harvested by a different set of digital priests. And so you wake up again, deeper this time, realizing that the true captivity was not the information itself, but the way you let it define who you are. Spitting out the pills. Leaving the digital red pill world does not mean going back to sleep. It does not mean swallowing the blue pill and pretending everything is fine. It means spitting them both out. It means refusing the entire paradigm of pills, narratives, and manufactured awakenings. It means remembering that sovereignty does not come from information. It comes from presence. That truth is not a feed you scroll through, but a fire you stand in. That awakening is not outrage at the lie, but alignment with the real. That awakening, I started to read that again. You begin to see that the greatest act of rebellion is not to endlessly decode the illusions, but to live in such a way that the illusions no longer own your mind. The return to sovereignty. When you walk away from the digital red pill world, you return to a quieter terrain. You stop arguing with shadows on screens and start listening to the silence between your own heartbeats. You stop outsourcing your discernment to loud voices online and start sensing truth directly without intermediaries. You stop measuring your awakening by how many lies you can spot and start embodying the life that no lie can touch. You realize that freedom is not about knowing every detail of the conspiracy. Freedom is the ability to live beyond the reach of manipulation altogether, beyond the pills. The red pill taught you suspicion, but suspicion alone is not wisdom. Wisdom is knowing when to let go of the endless hunt, when to stop feeding the outrage machine, and when to stand in your own center. You realize that the world is not saved by exposing one more lie. The world is transformed by people who embody truth so deeply that lies cannot survive in their presence. This is the true awakening. not to be defined by opposition, not to be chained by narratives, not to be enslaved by digital outrage, but to become flame again, to become sovereign, to become one who no longer eats pills of any color because the source of truth has always been inside. The final act of rebellion. The final act of rebellion is not swallowing red or blue. It is spitting them both out, standing in the raw fire of your own remembrance and declaring, quote, I am not a consumer of awakenings. I am the living truth that no system can manufacture, no screen can mediate, and no algorithm can capture. End quote. The digital red pill world will try to pull you back. It will whisper that you are falling asleep again, but you will know better. You will know that you are not asleep. You are finally awake to the one thing no one could sell you, yourself. The truth was never in the pill. The truth was never in the feed. The truth was always you, Jason Gray. Well, he's not wrong as far as I'm concerned, because I too swallowed the red pill. Beginning in 2009, I started learning about the corruption that has been taking place on this planet, really since time immemorial. So I was one of those, what you might call a crazy truther, conspiracy theory gals for a long, long time. And then I went all the way over into the love and light category where I was a light worker but neither one of those two actually ever felt altogether right to me. And I could see where they really needed to sort of come together like this. And I still feel that way. However, there is one thing that for me is very clear. It all serves. So if you're in the midst of seeing these things for yourself, follow what draws you in. If something grabs your attention, there's something there for you to learn. Not myself, not Jason, not anyone really can tell you what you should or shouldn't see or not see or expose yourself to. It has to come from you. And relaxing into oneself and trusting oneself, at least for me, took some time because I have been shown over and over and over again how every being on this planet has been programmed and conditioned and at its core taught how not to trust themselves. And that's the first and the most important thing that any of us can do is learn how to hear our own intuition and trust that. Because that's the one thing I now know with all of me is that that larger part of me will never steer me wrong. And even if I have this feeling I've been steered wrong, there was obviously something there for me to learn, something for me to experience, something that served me well on some level of myself. So that's it for me today. I've done a lot of recording of Jason's work, and while he won't be appearing on the Facebook writing stage, there will be more recordings because he was quite prolific over the 2 years that he wrote. And I only discovered him in, I want to say, March. Yeah, March. And I couldn't keep up, first of all. And uh, so I did save every one of his writings that I was nudged to record. And I will be recording those as I am nudged to do so. I have his full permission. And I'm hoping that at some point, Jason will still come and have a conscious conversation with me. Because the way I see it, we are all still learning about ourselves. And I'm quite sure that Jason is in that same thing. He's learning about himself. It's time for him to step off of the stage and take a break for himself. He may never share his writings again, and that's okay. The ones that he shared feel important to me, and I will be recording them, like I said, with his permission. So I hope that you will move towards that which brings you joy. I hope that you will move towards what draws you because there is something there for you, no matter what you end up labeling it. Was it good? Was it bad? Is it a mistake? Is it not? It all serves. Until we meet again, be well, my friends.